The Internet's Own Boy, the story of Aaron Swartz, is a documentary about Aaron Swartz, who was a young sort of child prodigy. He got involved in these early kind of working groups that were kind of building the flow of information on the web, contributed significantly to groups like the RSS working group. Creative Commons was the technical architect to Creative Commons, and was one of the co-founders of Reddit, which is one of the most popular sort of social news site on the internet. After Reddit, those co-founders all sold Reddit to Condé Nast. He became a very rich 19-year-old, and sort of instead of continuing down that startup path, that sort of build to flip money machine that Silicon Valley is, he takes a decisive turn towards political organizing and social justice issues. Ends up getting tangled with the United States government. It begins a 2-year legal nightmare for him that unfortunately ends with his taking of his own life at the age of 26. But a lot of my films have had to do with technology and culture. I think it's a really interesting place that we're in, where this world of technology, that it's obviously changing how we communicate and who we are and our identities, and this massively networked world that's also very insecure, right? The internet's not built for security, right? It's built for a free flow of information. The invention itself is linking. That's the whole invention, really. So it's built to do this. Security is something that's kind of this ham-fisted thing that gets kind of put on top. It's almost a Band-Aid. So what does that mean for who we are? You know, we live these different kinds of lives, and yet at the same time we have this notion of who we are, the civil liberties. This notion of freedom of speech, of the right not to be searched by our government without due process, and a whole host of constitutional and human rights and civil liberties that we believe in, presumably, that we cherish as Americans and as humans. And these two things are obviously clashing. These are two tectonic plates, and they're grinding, and where that pressure is the most intense, I think, is a really interesting place to tell stories. I made a film called We Are Legion, the story of the hacktivists. So I spent a lot of the year that came out sitting on panels talking about hackers and hacktivism. I think that the year we made that film was an unprecedented surge of hacker and hacktivist activity. We made it right when it was at its sort of peak. And so I was talking about it, but the year after that was really a year of a crackdown on people that are trying to bring information to light, really. People that are trying to, journalists, whistleblowers, hackers, hacktivists of all sorts. There was this sort of draconian kind of crackdown on these people, and so I was on a panel. It was a week after he died. And so it seemed like everybody at this conference knew him, knew who he was, had a story about him, and it was a very emotional time for everybody. And I started filming people's reactions, trying to understand why so many people reacted to this one person's death. It was right at the beginning of this tsunami of anger and frustration and real sympathy that was coming out of the internet. And I wanted to understand why, and I wanted to just understand why the government went after him and why it had to lead to this. You know, you don't have to be a genius hacker to do good in the world, right? You don't have to be, you know, some coder or programmer. I mean, you have skills. Everybody's got skills. How do you use those skills in your life in the short time you have here? In what sort of effort are you trying to do? Are you trying to use them only to make money? Or are you putting some in the public interest? Are you doing something in the public good? Aaron's story speaks to that too. He made a very clear decision early in life that if he had what a lot of people think of as sort of magical skills, programming skills, if you have those, why not use them for good? Why not use them to make the world better? And if you can do that, what's your argument for not doing that? It better be good.